Oh, there you are, YouTube. Do subscribe if you're interested. Today we are talking about episode 3 of House of the Dragon, and this one was titled Second of His Name? Second in His Name? Second of His Name, I believe. So, what I really need to start doing with this show is writing down names, writing down houses, because everything from like Game of Thrones has not been secure in my mind since the show ended, right? As I'm watching it, as I'm binging it, I'm gaining all this information. I'm connecting family trees, I'm connecting house alliances and things like that, and it's all kind of disappeared, and I'm trying to rebuild those things. And of course, this show is a prequel, so I can't really always go by what I know from Game of Thrones. So basically all of that to say, I'm going to be talking in somewhat generalities when it comes to some of the characters, because I haven't learned their names. They haven't been locked away, and they haven't been I haven't given myself the opportunity to learn how to pronounce some of them even. So basically what we have here is, well, we have a couple things going on with this one, because the very first part was very like all about, I guess, politics, like this sort of hierarchy, royal politics, because like the main girl, the daughter of the king, is set up to be queen, but we've also learned here in this episode that the king has had, since the previous episode, has had one son born and one on the way. So we're having big leaps in time. I guess for you it's that way. Big leaps in time for this show. So she's all worried and like, great, I'm not going to be king. He's going to pass me over and then go to my young brother. And a lot of the people in the realm, is that the right word, are thinking this too, like this is what needs to happen, right? So, but the king is like, no, you're still going to be my heir. You are going to be queen of all of this. So that's kind of what's going on, because there was a time when he was kind of, I think he used the word wavering, where he was like, I need to marry her off. So he's like basically trying to set up these meetings with other royals or whatever houses to build strength in terms of the realm, right? You know, marrying off to somebody who is wealthy or has a powerful army or located in a place that would be good for battle or something like that, right? So we're getting all of that, but then he sort of comes to the realization, no, it's just gonna happen. You are queen, and he seems genuine in that. I know people are whispering in his ear, but he does seem, in my eyes, as a father with daughters, it seems like he's telling the truth. I hope he is, because that's where I want to see things go. I think all this history is already written in books and stuff, so I don't know what's actually going to happen, and I don't really recall if it was mentioned in Game of Thrones. I'm sure it was, but I don't have that information locked away in my head. So yeah, that was kind of like the first half of this, right? And then we have Doctor Who, with the one that wore the bow tie. Maybe they all wear bow ties. Kind of the I don't know his name. Smith. I think he has a really generic name. Matt Smith, is that it? Matt Smith is the king's brother, and he's over at, what are they called, the stepping stones or something? People are going to have to help me out here with the terminology. Fighting the crab feeder. And this guy is gross looking, right? He almost looks like he has dragon scale or whatever that disease was, but something worse, right? He almost looks like in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3, like when you have, or is it the first one too? All of them. All the pirate. No, yeah, 2 and 3. When you have like those like barnacles growing off of pirates and things like that, and they look half fish and all that. Like that's kind of what this guy looks like, and as he kills people, he feeds them to crabs and things like that. So really grotesque, and I was excited to get to know this guy, right? I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good villain for this show. So I can't wait to see this person show up in future episodes. Maybe we'll see what's behind the mask, because he wears like this Phantom of the Opera style mask. kind of shaped in a decorative way. So we have all of that, and then basically Matt Smith is there just trying to battle this guy, right? He lives on the shore, and Matt Smith is there with the dragons, and it seems like they're losing, and they're like, King, we need help. But I feel like they're asking for help in some, I'm trying to remember how it was done, but asking for help, and the king's like, I'm a good man, you know, I don't believe in what you're doing, but you know, you're my brother, and I don't want to see you die. And for some reason that pissed Doctor Who off. I'm still trying to figure out why that is. A lot of this stuff doesn't come quick to me. So it was almost like the king was almost like killing him with kindness or something. Like Damon, is that his name? He did not want to hear that or something, because he like basically tried to kill the messenger after, you know, with the king gave him that information. It was just like, wow, interesting. So anyway, after that, Doctor Who was just like, I am gonna take care of this right now. So he goes up, kind of creates this fake spoilers, by the way. He creates like this what do you call that, like the white flag. It's not retreat. See, these are all impromptu and words aren't coming to me. Retreat, nope. What is that, white flag, I don't know. Puts out a white flag. He's saying and then he hands over his sword and he's like, we quit. You can win. Why can't I think of that word? So that's what's going on, right? And then it's a lie. It's a lie. Home Alone 2. And then the dragons start flying, and then they start, you know, beating up all the army of the crab feeder. And then when all that's going on, Doctor Who's like, I'm going into that cave and I'm finding the crab eater. So he goes and then he finds the crab eater. We don't see it happen though, right? We just know he's in the cave. And then the next thing we see, he's like walking out of the cave all backlit, dragging like a half of a body with him by an arm. And then it was just kind of like, wait, is that, they didn't even show this happen? Is that the crab feeder? And then we see that it is the crab feeder, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna get to know this character at all. So yeah, actually that was kind of like a common thing in Game of Thrones. People were just, you know, being offed constantly. You know, you thought you were going to get to know somebody and then you didn't, and that's sort of, or someone that you did get to know was just like gone. And that's kind of what was happening here. It felt like there was a build-up, a setup for us to get to know this very person, villain who had just a lot of character to them visually. And then they're like, nah, we'll just go ahead and let Doctor Who kill that person. And he's looking tough, so I don't know, he basically like proved himself to be like, look at me, I did this without the king's help. King did not show up in time. You know, the king's men, 6,000 men, so many ships and all that, didn't show up in time. I did it on my own. So yeah, I think I'm interpreting this right. I may have to watch some videos, but am I interpreting this wrong? Ooh, look at that thin hair. I guess I'll cover it up with a hat. Look at that. I just my thinning hair just made me lose my spot. Yeah, if I'm interpreting this wrong, help me out. Like, sometimes I'll watch something and then I'll do like an impromptu review of it, and then afterwards I understand what's going on. And I was like, I misunderstood that earlier, but now I get it. Or I'll watch like a YouTube video or read some comments, and it'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't see that. That makes more sense. So what am I missing here? I'm probably missing something because I didn't feel like I had a full grasp. Also, the sound. Does this happen to you with HBO Max? Up and down, up and down, up and down. You're turning up, you're turning down, you're turning up, turning down. So we just put on the subtitles halfway through because it was like, I can't tell what's going on here. I gotta, you know, turn up and down the volume constantly. It's probably my setup. I need to get better equipment. I remember like old TVs, old analog TVs with channels, didn't have this problem. I just felt like I could hear everything. Now you have to have everything set in a specific way, and it's like, I'm too old to figure this out. I'm not, but I just am not figuring it out. Anyway, yeah, that third episode I thought was pretty good. I liked how it was sort of split in two. Or, I mean, it was probably like the last fourth was heavy on the action, but that action was pretty great, I thought. I liked it anyway. So I'm still having a good time with this. I think they do need to incorporate some comic relief. I mean, that's what was cool about, like, Peter Dinklage just had like some of the best lines ever. So I think what I would like is for this show to do something similar, where it's just like we need a character who has like great dialogue, can just like fire off dialogue in a witty, funny way. I mean, I guess you can't have them copy what they did before, but they need to do something to make it so it's not just so serious, which is weird for me to say, but you know, I felt like Peter Dinklage was serious, but he was just a person who was naturally funny. You know, it wasn't like they were writing jokes. It was a character who had wit to them. You know, it's kind of like the difference between the original Ghostbusters film and then that one from like 20, I don't know, 16 or something like that. I don't know. You know, with Melissa McCarthy, it was like the original Ghostbusters felt like witty people, where the other one felt like written characters who had jokes written for them. It didn't have that naturalistic thing. And that's what I think this show needs, is someone brought in who has their aura, their dialogue is all just very naturalistically funny. I think that's what the show needs right now. I think that would be good, but otherwise I'm enjoying it. I'm just thinking that would be kind of a nice thing to toss in here, because right now it's feeling very serious, right? Anyway, that's where I'm at on this show. What are you thinking? Are you still with it? I'm becoming more invested. I don't feel like I could just abandon it anymore, which is sort of how I felt the first episode. I was just like, you know, if I stopped this, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm more invested now. I want to know where this goes. Anyway, again, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.